Have you ever dreamt of a mystical winter wonderland in the Austrian Alps? A place where you can ski some of the best slopes of the whole country? A village where tradition meets hospitality? This winter, I found this place for you and will share its biggest secrets. Join my journey to Lech am Arlberg, one of the premier skiing destinations of the whole Alps.
We are on our way now to Lech am Arlberg, which is in Austria, and we will actually spend Christmas there.
Being located in Austria, between Germany and Switzerland, Lech is a 2.5-hour drive from Zurich, about 3 hours from Munich, and the closest airport is the Austrian city Innsbruck, that is only a 1.5 hours drive. And when climbing up the Arlberg direction Lech and passing the town Zürs, you already get a glimpse on the scenic winter wonderland you will end up at. Nestled within charming natural landscapes, some 1,450 meters above sea level, you will find Lech am Arlberg, voted Europe's most beautiful village in 2004. For a long time, the most important economic sector of the region was livestock farming, though. Only with the up-and-coming tourism in the 20th century did things change. The Arlbergbahn, which opened in 1884, and the Flexenstraße, which was built at the end of the 19th century, were the infrastructure needed so that more and more guests could come to the neighboring villages Zürs and Lech. The rise of Lech am Arlberg as a skiing destination started early. In 1895, Father Johann Müller from the neighboring town Waadt ordered strangely shaped wooden planks from Scandinavia and secretly made his way up to the snow-covered mountain slopes at night and went down as a ski pioneer and one of the legends of Ski Arlberg, the cradle of alpine skiing where the first ski club in the Alps was born. Over the years and decades, this village has transformed into an international tourist hotspot, without sacrificing its charm as a Walser people village, with unique traditions, a culture of hospitality and healthy livelihoods. Lech is a part of the Best of the Alps. This 13-member strong group unites the most opulent skiing destinations in Europe, from France Chamonix and Megève to Switzerland St. Moritz and Zermatt, which we have, by the way, both visited in the last 2 Christmas episodes.
So today is our first day of skiing in Lech, and I will take you with me.
Lech is also called the cradle of alpine skiing. In 1937, the first T-bar lift in Zürs laid the foundation of today's modern skiing experience. And indeed, Lech is one of my favorite places to ski in the whole Alps because of its versatility. Today there are legendary downhill runs and ski routes like the Langer Zug, one of the steepest ski runs in Austria, backcountry options for free riders, and the possibility of heli skiing that is unique in the Austrian Alps. With the construction of the Flexenbahn cable car in 2016-17 in Lech Zürs, this tranquil region became the largest ski area in Austria, with 87 lifts and 305 kilometers of slopes. For our first day, we took it easy though and just enjoyed the views of the Lech winter wonderland we landed in. One of the reasons I love Lech is because of its cozy mountain restaurants. Unlike other skiing resorts, it doesn't only cater to the luxury skiing traveler, but there is still plenty of cozy and traditional options to have lunch at. A lot of them, like Sonnenburg or Hotel Ilga, you find at Oberlech, that in winter is only reachable by a gondola ride from downtown Lech by everyone, including people who don't ski. So it's an awesome meeting point for the whole group. But of course there are as well plenty options on the slopes, like the modern Wolf, the cozy Kriegeralpe, Balmalp or Rudalpe. Besides of the cozy and traditional mountain restaurants, per capita Lech Zürs boasts the world's highest density of award-winning restaurants in the world. Though at first glance this community in Arlberg might look small and cozy, but there are spectacular dining options. We tried one of them when visiting the restaurant Wunderkammer of the Hotel Schneider, which translated means Chamber of Magic. And what magic it was! The old church of Lech is one of the things you see first because it is towering over Lech's main road and therefore the most significant landmark of Lech. In 1390, a church was built where before a chapel was standing, and at the end of the 15th century replaced by a Gothic church. The early Gothic church tower was preserved, but the nave was rebuilt in 1603. The double onion dome was put on in 1694. Right outside of the graveyard of the old church, a new modern church was built that today is used for most of the masses and ceremonies. The windows in the chancel give a view of the old church, and even though the interior and architecture is quite modern, many historical icons of the old church were transferred to the new one. For example, a Gothic Madonna from around 1490, or a carved crucifix from around 1790. In Lech, the whole village prepares for Christmas as early as 1st of December, because then the yearly advent calendar of the village starts. Each December, 24 buildings or shops prepare Christmas windows, and each day, a new window lights up and invites Lech's visitors to explore different parts of the village, looking for the new advent calendar window.
Good morning. We are doing the so-called white ring today, which is a skiing round here in Lech, where you actually don't take one slope 2 times. So each time you ski, a new slope.
Lech is home of the legendary and historical White Ring, a skiing round that takes several hours to travel and takes you from Lech to Zürs and the village Zug. This is a spectacular 22-kilometer panoramic skiing circuit with a total of 5,439 meters of altitude set amidst the impressive alpine peaks and created about 60 years ago.
So here in downtown Lech, you have to carry your skis a little bit and cross the road to reach the next gondola.
The most common way of starting the journey on the White Ring is taking the gondola up to the Rüffikopf mountain, from where the route is only interrupted twice by a T-bar lift and a chairlift and takes you down to the village Sürs. So this is the first time commenting while skiing. Let's see how it goes. It's a lovely day to do the White Ring, and I have skied here before, so it's not my first time here. But if you want to do the White Ring, I would plan a few hours in the morning. I would say planning about 3 hours is plenty of time if you want to as well stop a few times. So if you're a decent skier, 3 hours to do the White Ring should be enough. So this village down here, that's Sürs, and that's where we're gonna go. And then from there, we're gonna ski up all of this mountain to this ridge. This day we were, by the way, skiing with a guide called Julio from the ski school Lech. Not because you need a guide to ski the White Ring. There are actually plenty of signs in the whole skiing area that will lead your way on the skiing circuit. But because I still try to improve my skiing every year and always take at least one lesson. This is the next village and we are going down to it. You can see that already a bit. We cross the road down there and continue on the other side again up the mountain. So first down, then up again. Here, this is the bottom of the village Sürs, and here you can see how we cross the road above on the skiing bridge, and that means we are now on the other side of the valley and the mountains.
So where we stop?
At the top over there, where finish the chairlift. And you can drive your drone there.
Perfect.
Perfect.
How's that called?
That's called Madloch.
Madloch.
From Sürs, the chairlift Seekopf or Zürser See takes you up the mountain. But then the lift to Madloch brings you to 2,446 meters, the highest point of the White Ring, and when continuing, you will hit a skiing route and not a normal, well-maintained slope. So it as well can be the most challenging part of the round, but as well one of the most beautiful. Once you're up here on Madloch, which to me always feels a little bit like a plateau between the mountains, it goes down pretty steep again on the other side, and I think it's the steepest part of the route, and it's the slopes to the village Zug. From the valley at Zug, the last big climb and the last gondola takes you up to the mountain Kriegeralpe and Balmengrad, and to the longest descent of the whole White Ring, You can ski down 4,236 meters from here to Oberlech and from there to the village of Lech. This is already nearly the end of the White Ring. It was a lot of fun, but I have some more things here in Lech that I want to show you. And that's actually not something sportive, but something cultural. But luckily we have a few more days before it's finally Christmas, so let's explore that tomorrow. The villages Lech and Zürs are not only known for their scenic views and skiing, but also as a cultural destination, with offering historical culture as much as modern one. There are plenty of concerts and art events visitors can attend, but if you don't want to sit in a concert hall during your skiing vacation like me, you can enjoy some beautiful art that is deeply hidden in the skiing area and quite an adventure to discover. And definitely one of my favorite places in all of Lech. At the location Tanneck in Oberlech, at 1,780 meters above sea level, the world-famous American artist James Turrell designed a light room in 2014, where sky and earth seem to encounter one another from a new point of view in the high alpine landscape of Lech, just off the skiing slope, but especially in winter hidden under the mountain and snow. Once you find the entrance, you enter a 15-meter-long tunnel that takes you to the oval main room that has an oval opening in the ceiling and a circular bench which, like the floor, is lined with black granite. After the sun goes down, the light installation in the room switches on and the walls and ceiling are covered in changing colored lights, so that the spatial structure that you see during the day, which was previously perceived as clean, seems to dissolve.
The travel partner think about this? Highlight of the year, he says.
Here, between the almighty mountains of Lech, it feels like there is peace. It feels like a real winter wonderland really does exist. Merry Christmas to all of you folks. I wish you all the best for the holidays and as well for celebrating into the new year. If you like this trip to this winter wonderland, give this video a thumbs up and comment. I will take a week off here on the channel and will be back with the next episode of the epic East Coast ride in the first week of January. And it will be a good one. I will ride through one of the most beautiful national parks of the East Coast, show you some awesome views, and will try to find the best lobster roll of the whole country. Merry Christmas and hopefully a Happy New Year of adventure.